Our second game of the doubleheader is an important game for the conference because the Big East hasn't had a lot of signature wins here in the non-con. We got Providence taking on an undefeated Penn State team. This game is on a neutral site, Dalen. They're in Mohegan Sun. Providence, 20 losses this year, a few losses early in the season. What do you expect them?
You did say hit me earlier. I've been hearing the sounds of a casino since then. Check 100, winner. No, this team, you mentioned how big this game is. It's so funny. People wonder, well, the season's so long. Are these games November, December matter? This is huge for both, for the Big East, because the metrics that you have from November and December are baked in. So when you start league play in January and February, you almost can't improve. So when you look at the ACC in the past couple of years, they've been really bad in the non-league. They get in league, their teams improve and cannibalize each other, but they're no good wins. Exact opposite for the Big 12 or the SEC when they were really good in November, December. All good wins, no bad losses, and that stacks your resumes. Right now, the Big East is in a bad spot. Providence has lost Virginia Tech and Colorado. They're two other high major games. This is a must-win game. It's crazy to say that, but like for their resume right now against a Penn State team that will probably finish in the bottom 5 of the Big Ten, you kind of got to win this game for yourself and for the league.
And one thing I know about Kim English, that he's preparing his team for the big picture.
Right.
So this is why this game is so important. If we talk about culture, we talk about freshmen, well, these non-conference game, neutral site, this is where you dig in and really see what your team's made of. Defensively, can you get the stops? Yeah, we know Penn State's coming in 5-0. Well, who cares? Can this be their first loss? That's the type of mentality I think Kim English, GA, is preaching to his team. And last but not least, I think he's one of those few coaches can get guys to buy in right away with so much movement and so many new guys coming to your culture.
Yeah, and listen, buy-in can be tough when your best players are kind of new. And I love their law firm, Sellers and Edwards. Those are two guys, two seniors that are going to have to play at a high level. But I think you make a great point. They do need to start having some quality wins. And you hope that Penn State, if you're able to get this game, goes on and has a solid Big Ten schedule, because it is starting to look a little dicey for the Big East when you start looking at the landscape of college basketball.
Yeah, right now, Providence just knocked off New Hampshire, and I went back and watched that game because I have no life. And they were struggling in the first half. They were struggling against New Hampshire. You could hear the Boo Birds a little bit. And this is a team down that there was expectations in Providence. Are they having a tough time figuring out who they are identity-wise?
Yeah, I mean, Sellers and Edwards, as you mentioned, and Edwards in particular, like he's been a leading scorer in each different program he's been at. The problem is he's been in a different program every year for the past 4 years. But he comes in here, and he's still outstanding player. They're trying to figure out how to mold this group together. And talking to Kim in the offseason, he was really excited about these guys, but how are they going to respond in certain moments? And my issue right now with their lack of connectivity is on the defensive end. In their big games against Virginia Tech and Colorado, in big moments, and throughout the course of the game, Virginia Tech hung up a century mark on them in overtime, but in a century mark, they were able to get into the paint. And it's not just getting into the paint and finishing. They're spraying out for open threes. They're giving up 36% and change from the three-point line, which is a pretty good clip in college basketball. And those are step-in, open looks. So they have to control the ball with Mingo and Tunja, two really good freshmen for Penn State. Keep them out of the lane, make those guys shoot contested twos. They're in a good spot.
That's my favorite part about it. You know, me as a shooter, if you can get into that paint, the paint's going to shrink. Now, when you're spraying out for a guy, now he's licking his chops and shooting a wide-open shot versus putting a hand in his face. We know the percentage come down. Can you stay in attack mode and continue that?
Listen, Providence, you hit it on the head. Providence doesn't defend. You can't be allergic to defense. You know, they just want to score, and if you want to win, you have to do more. And that more is on the defensive side of the ball. They have not shown any emphasis or any care on that end. And if you're Kim English, if they don't start defending, this season's going to get away from them, because it's embarrassing how bad they are defensively right now. There is just no effort on that side of the ball. And at this level, man, you've got to bring it defensively.
Well, someone to watch out for in this game is Penn State freshman Caden Mingo. Ironically enough, he was high school teammates with Nigel James, VJ Edgecombe at Lehigh. And Mingo is a little bit of a do-it-all guard. He could score. He can make others better. He is electrifying to watch. He's got handles. He had a massive performance last night. Dennis, when you see this guy, who does he remind you of?
I can't pinpoint a person, but I just like he stays downhill. I like to call it a little wiggle. Get a little wiggle, get to the spike, use that shoulder, and can use either hand around the basket, GA. For a young guy, I love what I see. Now, the question is, when the defenses start figuring that out, what is that next move to go to, or is it spray to get his teammates better? That's the next thing for him.
Yeah, I was texting with Mike Rhodes, head coach of Penn State, and he said, we got kids, they got grown men. And right now, Providence is scoring nearly 30% of their buckets on fast breaks. They're going to have to get back on defense.
Yeah, they're top 25 in the nation in tempo. So the Friars are going to push it. The big thing for Penn State is this is a big step up in class. Like the highest ranked team they've played per Ken Palm is Harvard in $180.
Wow.
They've had no high major opponents yet. They're 5-0. That's great. But this is a whole different level. So when you have 3 freshmen that are leading you in scoring, how do they respond when the level is raised with a Providence team that kind of, as we mentioned already, has to win this game?
Yeah, Coach Rose said, don't turn over the ball. Get back on defense. And he said, don't mention your college stats alongside Dennis Scott and Greg Anthony. That was a text he actually sent me. He goes, they were a little bit better than you. But Penn State, Providence, an important game. Dalen mentioned it. It's not only important for Providence. It's important for the entire Big East because they need resume wins. That's what resonates in March. We got Milwaukee, Algonquin for the good land. That's from Wayne's World. Alice Cooper. Yeah, we're going to be in Milwaukee, Central Michigan, Marquette. That's next. You know,
it's Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.